Hey everybody, welcome to my next singing video here on YouTube. Today I got a Canadian rock and roll song for y'all called Shakin' All Over by the Guess Who from 1965, written by Johnny Kidd. This is my first Guess Who song on my YouTube playlist, My Karaoke Songs, and my 239th video on there overall. I did do a video of this song on SingSnap 3 or 4 years ago. To quote a James Thurber title, you could look it up. A little bit about the songwriter Johnny Kidd of this song. He was a leader of a band called Johnny Kidd and the Pirates. They were an English rock band. Johnny Kidd's real name was Frederick Albert Heath. He was born on December 23rd, 1935 in Williston, North London, England. He died in a car crash on October the 8th, 1966 in Brightmet, Bolton, Lancashire, England, age 30. Kidd has written or co-written 5 songs that have been recorded by other artists, including Shakin' All Over from Please Don't Touch by the Bachelors in 1959 to Restless by Johnny Kidd and the Pirates on September the 5th, 1960. All the pictures I've seen of Kidd show him wearing an eye patch, in character, I suppose, as the leader of his band, the Pirates. Shakin' All Over was first recorded by Johnny Kidd and the Pirates on May 13th, 1960, and first released by them on June 10th of that year. The original recording reached number 1 in the UK singles chart in August 1960. However, the recording was not a hit outside Europe, and the band was destined to be a one-hit wonder. In other parts of the world, the song is better known by recordings from other artists. In North America, these artists are the Guess Who. Actually, at the time the Guess Who recorded their version in Winnipeg in December of 1964, they were known as Chad Allan and the Expressions. Although there is a reference to Shakin' All Over being the pick hit of the week on CKRC radio station in Winnipeg that month under the band's previous name, Chad Allan and the Reflections. And my mom being from Winnipeg, being in the same era as them, as the Guess Who, she knew them as Chad Allan and the Reflections from the stories that she told me about them. That they actually performed during high school dances at my mom's high school, Glenlawn Collegiate in Winnipeg, in the early 60s. They play Buddy Holly songs and current, I guess, rock songs that were out at the time. And let's see what else here now. During the week of Christmas, 1964 was when they appeared on that CKRC radio station blurb. Shakin' All Over was released in December 1964 on the Quality Records label in Canada as the B-side of Till We Kissed, a song written by Chad Allan. The Quality record gives the artist name as simply Chad Allan without the band name. On that rare first record, the songwriter of Shakin' All Over is given as Heath, which was Kidd's real last name. In the spring of 1965, the record became a number 1 hit in Canada. Quality Records and later pressings credited the artist as Guess Who? In an attempt to disguise their origin and hint that the group might be a British invasion act. The actual name was revealed a few months later, but radio DJs continued to announce the artist as Guess Who. This prompted the group to change their name to the Guess Who. In the US, Shakin' All Over was released in March 1965 on the Scepter Records label, with the composer credited as Johnny Kidd and the artist as Guess Who? They eventually dropped the question mark from their name in 1968. This time, Shakin' All Over was the A-side of the record, with Till We Kissed as the B-side. It was the other way around the first time they released it in Canada. The record was both produced and arranged by Chad Allan. The single entered the US Billboard Hot 100 Top 40 on June 5th, 1965, giving the Guess Who their first international hit of the 14 they would have through 1974. Shakin' All Over charted for 7 weeks and peaked at number 22. And also peaked at number 27 in Australia. It would be their only US hit until These Eyes 4 years later, when their success abroad exploded. Kidd was quoted as saying, about the inspiration behind the writing of Shakin All Over. Going back in time a little bit here. But when I was going, what does it say? When I was going around with a bunch of lads, this is a quote, when I was going around with a bunch of lads and we happened to see a girl who was a real sizzler, we used to say that she gave us quivers down the membranes. It was a standard saying with us, referring to any attractive girl. I can honestly say that it was this more than anything that inspired me to write Shakin All Over. And that was from a story by John Einerson in the Winnipeg Free Press in 2017. So I'm going to dedicate this song, Shakin All Over, to to my to my sizzler, Alona Nufrieva. Alright, so now a little bit about the cover versions. There are a whole lot of cover versions of this song. 129 cover versions of Shakin All Over have been recorded to date. 116 of those are in English. 3 are instrumentals, 1 in Chinese, 3 in Finnish, 2 in French, 2 in Spanish, 1 in Swedish, and 1 in Italian. Some of the English covers include by the Searchers in September 1963 on their Phillips album, or not their album, but it was a various artists album, Phillips album called Twist im Star Club, Hamburg. By the Swinging Blue Jeans in May 1964 on their His Master's Voice EP, Shake with the Swinging Blue Jeans. By the Surfaris, famous for Wipeout, in November 1965 on their Decca album, It Ain't Me Babe. By Chad Allan and the Expressions. There's the cover. Later the Guess Who. January the 16th, 1965 on their Quality Music / Scepter album, Shakin All Over. This was their debut album, and Shakin All Over was track 1. By Mae West, yeah, that Mae West, in 1966 on her Tower album, Way Out West. By The Who, we have the Guess Who, and we also have The Who, on May 23rd, 1970 on their track record album, Live at Leeds. By Susie Quattro in October 1973 on her self-titled R.A.K. album. By Van Morrison and Dr. John in 1974 on their Bandito Records album, Van Morrison and Dr. John's Amsterdam Tapes. By Alex Harvey, the New Band, in November 1979 on their RCA Victor album, The Mafia Stole My Guitar. And by Cliff Richard on November 6, 1981 on his EMI single, Daddy's Home. Now a little bit about the Guess Who, and a few stories about them that I learned from my mom. The Guess Who was a Canadian rock band formed in Winnipeg, Manitoba in 1965. Before that, though, it was a spin-off of a few other bands. In 1958, Winnipeg singer-guitarist Chad Allan formed a local rock band called Al and the Silvertones. After several lineup changes, the band stabilized in 1962 under the name Chad Allan and the Reflections, which included Allan, born Allan Peter Stanley Cowbell on March 29, 1943 in Winnipeg, born the same year as my mom, and died on November 21st, 2023, aged 80, of the complications of a stroke he suffered 4 years earlier in British Columbia. And keyboardist Bob Ashley, plus future Guess Who mainstays Randy Bachman, born Randolph Charles Bachman on September 27, 1943. He's aged 80 now. He was born in Winnipeg, and he was born 5 days after my mom. Mom's birthday was September 22nd. Bachman on guitar, and my mom actually was babysat by Randy Bachman's mother when she was a kid. And when I went to Winnipeg when I was a kid, 8 years old, in 1983, we visited Randy Bachman's mother's house and met her, and I think we saw a piano in the house there, I think, and I still remember that from way back then, 40 years ago now. Then there's Jim Cale. Jim Cale was born Michael James Cale on August 11, 1943. He's now 80 years old, and he was born in Winnipeg. He played bass for the group. And Jim Cale, I was trying to find a picture of him in my mother's grade 2 class picture that she had from public school in Winnipeg, where Jim Cale was her classmate. Apparently what she told me about Jim Cale was the girls didn't like him much because they said he had cooties, which at that age I think not too many girls like boys at all, so no surprise there, I think. But that's a good story. So Jim Cale, also from Winnipeg, playing bass, and Gary Peterson on drums in the Chad Allan and the Reflections lineup. In 1965, the group changed their name to Chad Allan and the Expressions after an American group called the Reflections released the hit single Just Like Romeo and Juliet. I remember that song from the radio way back then. Not then, but when I was a kid, oldies stations. I mentioned earlier how the band came to be called the Guess Who, so I won't go over that again, but Ashley left the band in January 1966 and was replaced by 18-year-old Burton Cummings, who was born Burton Lorne Cummings on December 31st, 1947. So now he's 76 years old, and he was born in Winnipeg also. And Kurt Cummings also became the co-lead singer with Allan. A few months later, Allan departed, leaving Cummings as the sole lead singer. After Allan's departure for college, guitarist Bruce Decker joined for a few months. The lineup was stabilized and stable until Bachman left in May 1970 because he did not get along with Cummings, and his recent conversion to Mormonism clashed with the band's rock and roll lifestyle. Bachman was replaced by Winnipeg rock guitarists Kurt Winter and Greg Lescue. There's a good Ukrainian name, just like my mom. And Drusko. We got Greg Lescue here. Cale was dismissed from the band in 1972 and replaced the members replaced him with Bill Wallace. Cummings and Peterson remained until the band's breakup in October of 1975 due to Cummings being unhappy with the band's move to a more jazz rock style, when Dominic Troiano, who had replaced Winter, and Donnie McDougall, who himself had replaced Lescue. The band briefly reformed with different lineups during 1978 to 1979, 1983, and 1999 to 2003. I remember them playing once at a Grey Cup halftime show, probably back in the late 90s or early 2000s maybe. A nostalgia-oriented lineup, organized by Cale, was formed and toured and recorded under the Guess Who name since 1978, but this has been interrupted off and on by lawsuits launched by Bachman and Cummings over the use of the name and the songs of the Guess Who. The Guess Who performed in the hard rock, psychedelic rock, blues rock, and garage rock genres. I'd say that Shakin All Over is probably the garage rock side of it. They recorded for the Nimbus 9 and RCA Victor labels in addition to Quality and Scepter. 374 records were released on the Guess Who under their various names between 1965 and 1986. Their discography includes 21 studio albums, 10 live albums, 20 compilation albums, and 54 singles, 5 of which went to number 1, including Shakin All Over. They also released 9 music videos, before music videos were really a big thing back in the late 60s and early 70s. Okay, so now I'm going to sing Shakin All Over, which is track number 15, and it's the last song on this CD right here that I haven't sung before on a video, so this is it. All done. So now, here we go with Shakin All Over. We do have a Carafun version of this song, so we can not have to compete against Mr. Chad Allan, the lead singer, when this song was recorded. Okay. Here we go. Oops. Let me get my sheet back. Lyric sheet. Always important. Here we go now. Shakin All Over, as made famous by the Guess Who, written by Johnny Kidd. Something's not right here. It's frozen. Oh god. Oh jeez, here we go. When you're moving right up close to me, that's when I get the chills all over me. Quivers down my backbone, I got the shakes in my thigh bone, I got the shivers in my knee bone. shaking all over. Yeah. Just the way you say goodnight to me brings the feeling in inside of me. Quivers down my backbone, I got the shakes in my thigh bone, I got the shivers in my knee bone, shaking all over. Yeah. Woo. Quivers down my backbone, I got the shakes in my thigh bone, I got the shivers in my knee bone, shaking all over. Well, you make me shake and I like it, baby. You make me shake and I like it, baby. Well, shake, 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 shake. Woo! That's called Shakin' All Over by the Guess Who from 1965. Woo-ha! Well, I sure had fun singing that song. I hope y'all enjoyed that little song. A few little hiccups in there, but hey, we gave it a ride, that's for sure. Alright, so this is the end of all these here CDs. This is a big old stack that I've sung every single song off of this whole big stack of CDs now. Woo, look at that. Big old stack of CDs. And so now, I'm going to be starting off on a whole new group of songs next time, which are not on any CDs that I have, so I'm going to have to write all the lyrics out beforehand. Lots of work, but hey, it's a good way to learn the songs again. I got 18 songs on this little list right here, which I'm going to start singing on the next video, which is going to be on Monday. And it's a song called Sunny's Dream, which I'm sure you all know. It's a pretty big song out here in the East Coast. The version that I had on Sing Snap, which is where I had all these songs before, and that'll kill off all the Sing Snap songs that I've ever done. The version on Sing Snap I had was by Crystal Gale, so I'll see if I can find that version, but I might have to do a different version of this song when I do it on Monday. So we'll see how that goes. Hope you all join me then. Sure had fun today. Have a good day now. I'll see you next time. Bye now.